Welcome to live piano practice number 22. Don't know why. This is day 3 and don't know why. This is going to seem a lot like day 1 for me. I missed a couple, probably like a week in a row. Had some computer issues, resolved them, and then just took a little bit of a break. Did some drum videos, and now we're back. So a little bit like day 1, maybe day 2. Don't know why. Norah Jones. This is more of a guitar arrangement made for piano. So this is a lot more going on than the actual piano part. On our website, musicbythemeasurespro.com, we have both of them. So you can look at the piano and you can look at the guitar arranged for piano and see which one you like better. We will be jumping in. If you guys want to support us making more of these, become a member at musicbythemeasurespro.com. You get sheet music. You get to tell us what videos you want, what would help you learn, what you're working on next, and we'll go from there. So bear with me as we kind of relearn this together. All right, so we're gonna ignore the intro. That'll be probably a beast that I try to start tackling today if I have enough time. There's a lot going on there. It's a little intimidating for me as a piano player, or as a piano player adjacent. Much like with my drums, I'm not a very good piano player. I'm not a very good drummer yet. Working on that. I've actually taught at a decently high level for the years, but it doesn't mean I'm good at it, which is an interesting thing in and of itself, right? All right, so we have this A down to a D, and that A is going to become an A flat. And probably should cover that the key signature has a B flat and an E flat in it, so that'll come up as well. So we got this A, D, so 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So even though I missed a week, it's gonna come back pretty quick for me, which is kind of a nice way to do it. Not on purpose, but working on something really, really hard, taking a break. I'm actually using this as a time to take a break from drums for a bit. Got some things on the drums that I've been trying to solidify that just haven't been coming together. I'm gonna take 3 or 4 days off and just focus on piano. Try to get this song done for a student, and then go back to drums. So nice and slow. Full speed is 89. And 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and. So in our left hand, we're just playing B flat both times. We're playing this B flat though. 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 I think anytime that you can, when you're practicing something, I'm actively shutting my brain off, which a lot of people would argue that I do that all the time. I just want to sit there, and it's almost meditative for me, and it's probably why I like practicing more than anything else in my entire life. Which is funny because as a kid I hated practicing, but I can just shut my brain off and just really groove with this rhythm, with this metronome, while I'm reading that sheet music, and it just becomes something that I just sit there and do. And the longer you can do that over and over again, your brain connects those pathways. You're a vessel after a while. So it's 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and. Now down the road, see if I can talk. I'll have to put that pedal in. I don't know. I like to get all the notes down and then add that. All right. And 2 and 3 and 4 and. All right, now we could easily speed that up, but it makes more sense for us to kind of get 4 measures in a row kind of going. The passage very much for the song is 4 measures and repeat, 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 and then small changes. So, all right, so this next measure, we'll ignore our left hand for a minute. We're going to go to a D and a G. and that's on 2. So we got 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. I find it interesting, so I wrote some finger numbers here, and it's been a week, so I forgot what they actually. I mean, I know it means third finger, but am I using? We'll figure that out. So D G. That part's easy. We got that F sharp in there right afterwards. All the way down this B flat. So we got rhythm. So it'd be 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay, so that's what I meant. 4 or 5. Now I'll do this a lot when I teach a bunch of guitar, and I'm thinking my left hand 4 fingers, right? When I go to piano, all of a sudden there's a 5th finger. So when I saw 3, I legit thought of this finger. Never mind. I don't even know. Oh yeah. I did think of it backwards, which might say I'm more of a piano player, or more of a guitarist than a piano player by far. All right, so that's our movement. That makes way more sense. 2 and 3 and 4 and. All right, let's get that measure going. We'll ignore left hand, get this down first, and then try to add that in. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3. Okay, left hand is starting on this E flat, but we really need to see where we come from all the time, right? So that B flat is here. Probably using my pinky or my 4th finger. So that means probably my 2nd finger. So we have the E flat, D natural, F sharp. Sounds like a dark, scary song when you kind of like take some of these parts out by themselves, especially slow it down as well. All right, so let's put that together. Rhythmically, this measure's not too hard. The next 2 get me a lot. So we got 1 and 2 and 3. Let's do this. I know I really struggled putting this all together last time. So maybe we get used to just going 1 and 2 and 1 and 40 so slow it allows me to really plot out what I'm doing. 1 and 2 and 1. So that's the tempo. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and. Oh yeah, there'd be no 3 yet, right? I have that highlighted bad. Wrong. I have that highlighted wrong. So I probably don't need to do 1 and 2. Let's count this out. 1 and 2 and 3. I guess I'm not going to turn that into a loop because I don't want to just play 3 on that. 1 and 2 and 3. Okay. So 3 and. B flat. Then both hands are hitting F sharp at once, which is really nice. That's a lot of thinking for this guy. I do notice if I play a lot of piano and then move to drums or move to guitar, like just having to divide my brain between right and left hand and all these different notes really changes how you perceive the other instruments, which I think has been really insightful lately. And 3 and 4 E flat, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and rest. And 3 and 4 and 1 little bit of a break and then jump back in. Just getting a nice loop going, and then you saw I was struggling to maintain that. And 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and cool. So again, not playing for a week, I have to kind of decide in this hour-long session what I want to accomplish. I think I just want to get every measure just feeling like good by itself. And then if we have, it's only 4 measures that I'm really focusing on. And then we'll work on putting those 4 together. You know, because I could be doing, sometimes I overthink everything. I could start putting those 2 together right now. It's not really an issue of mine. It's these 3 that are just ugly for me. A lot of it has to do with that each measure is like bleeding into the next. Like we have these holds. So 3rd finger. We have this F natural. So we're going and 1 and 2. Oh, B, F natural again. Move that guy. So just like I do better. I shouldn't say I do really well, but I do better when the measure is like self-contained. Like the idea is all by itself, and I can easily just do a loop, do it really slow. But here I kind of have to do a measure and a half or 2 measures together, and just takes me a little bit longer to figure it out. So, all right. So let's kind of do it like we're only doing this measure. So we got this G in the bottom. We have a B flat. So actually, let's ignore our left hand. We'll do B flat, F natural, E natural. So again, out of the key signature, right? And important that I end with that F or that E with my 4th finger, so I can go. So really slowly, let's walk through that whole measure. B flat, F, E, B flat, F. Let's try to get that in time. What I'm thinking is, because we even play that offbeat there, maybe we go to 3. So we kind of have like a measure of 1, 2, 1, and 2, and. So let's even practice that way. This will make more sense in 1 sec. Hopefully it makes more sense in 1 sec. 1 and 2 and 1 and. Because that's my first time I'm playing that B flat and that G minor chord. So I got a 2-beat count in, and then I don't come in on 1. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. If I could get that down, even though it's kind of like a weird loop, that'll be good. Just going to let this run a couple times and try to just jump in and play it. 2 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and. So not as good, right? And 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and. So again, it's nice when I have a measure, one measure that I just have to learn. Having this measure and a half and having to think about counting, kind of like just, it's enough to throw me off. Might throw you off a little bit too. When you get it down, though, it becomes a better way to practice. I have so many students that'll be like, well, I have to play the whole verse. I have to play it from the beginning of the song. And I'm like, every time you play it from the beginning of the song, you get really, really good at those first 4 measures. It doesn't help you learn these any quicker. So if you can zoom in and just focus on 2 measures at a time, just a riff at a time, that's the best thing to do. And so oftentimes when I am looking at these, I'm scanning and going, all right, what segment can I learn? What can I get down now, especially piano that I'm not very good at? Putting hands together really quickly, that's the key. So let's do a couple more, just right hand. I'm going to leave it highlighted. It makes it a little bit easier for me to see what I'm working on. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 So in some ways, putting that G there is going to help me hear 1 better, right? 1 and 2 and then that next note is a C. Okay. But we have to go through this slow. 1 and 2 and 3. Now what I do like is anytime that I'm playing a root note for the most time, right? Like it's a tie from the right hand. So especially on that G, we're playing G, nothing in the right hands. I mean, we're holding it. And 1 and 2 and out of that C. And then those 2 notes together. Would that be an F? Clearly have to hit the right note, but all right. How do we want to tackle this? I guess we keep doing the same thing we were doing. That 1 on F is gonna get me. We're gonna try it. It's not gonna happen right away. And then what we'll probably do before we get too much farther is work on that measure that's half, and then work on this measure into that measure, and then like all of a sudden, boom, you have the 4 measures that are important. You know, again, is there even a deviation there? No, other than that tie. A lot of what we'll be doing in the other measures are all built on this idea that is early on in the chorus. All right, very slow with both hands together. Wish me luck. We got 1. Making sure I'm playing the right notes. I am. 1 and 2 and 3. Just get that a minute. That should be easy because they're both, again, hitting that F. All right, again, 1 and 2 and 3 and let's do it again. 1 and that G in context sounds really weird to me. That idea down, we can move on to more. Nope. That's what we want. Just getting used to the movement, and then I'll put in that terrible metronome that scares me. You gotta source it out or suss it out maybe, with just feeling like the idea of it over and over again, where you can hear it. You can hear it moving. And all of a sudden you put that metronome in, and you're like, oh, I understand how what I hear in my head fits with the metronome. And then eventually it all just comes together in 3 to 4 days. All right, let's try it with the metronome. 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 2 and 2 and let's take 1 off, just kind of get back together. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 3 and let's fix that. I like I'm crowding this, and then my B flat in my brain is here, and it should be here. Just be cannot recommend this enough, and it's something that working with metronome is hard for me, and something that in the last 2 years I've slowly got into the beginning of grasping it better. But now that I'm getting better with metronome, it's so important to run through it without metronome and hear that timing in your head and try it with metronome. And that back and forth has been one of the best things for me to play something quicker at a higher level and to really learn stuff. 2 and 3 and 4 and then 2 and 4 so my timing is terrible. And 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and we'll take one off and come back in. But it's again, sometimes I feel the need to talk, and I just need to shut up and keep playing that 100 times and understanding that this process is more about, I know I'm doing these live, but the process is more about, I just have to play this a bunch. And your practice should reflect that. I said to a student the other day, I said, if I spend 10, it was a drum lesson, but it's the same practice occurs. If I spend 10 minutes of a lesson warming up with sticks, I spend 5 minutes on a beat, I spend 10 minutes on this, I spend 10 minutes on something else. Your practice should reflect this. If I'm spending this long on this, it's because my practice needs that right now. Your practice might reflect that, or you might go, fuck it, I already understand how to play this. I can move on to the next part. Well, awesome, move on to the next part. Eventually when this is not live, skip forward. Be like, how do you play this? Or I even like it when John writes gorgeous pieces. John, who writes all of our tablature. Here's all the nuances that are there. And for me, it's like sometimes I gotta, A, lose my train of thought, which I just did. But B, it's like pick my battles on what I'm learning. I don't know. I don't remember that whole point. We'll jump in. Lost my whole train of thought. Make your practice reflect what I'm doing until you don't need to do it anymore. 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 2 and 1 and 2 and that's good enough for now. I could probably play that for another full hour and slowly get better. So why don't we, instead of doing this measure, let's get these 3 measures in a row together. So we kind of get the lead into that. We'll take a little break and work on just this end measure. And we'll do kind of the same thing and give ourselves 2 beats to always start over with. All right, let's review it from this E flat. Actually, let's take it from the top once, and we'll just kind of play through that idea. So it's funny, right? You just spend a bunch of time on these measures, and you're like, how does this actually sound? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 2 and down to the D, 3 and 4 and 1. C natural. I love how it's always like F sharp, F natural, or F sharp, F sharp, F natural, F natural, E natural, E natural, E flat. That walk down that's happening in the middle of the chord is really what makes this, in my mind, all work. I'm not smart enough via music theory to understand that all, but it sounds really gorgeous. All right, let's do that again. And that's just a lot of processing for my brain, right? To just go down this, and we're gonna have to do that a bunch. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Oh, 4 and now if I was really smart, so that's 1 and don't know if we're gonna worry about that. If this comes easy after a bit, then we'll put it in. If not, we're just not gonna worry about it. So we got 1 and 2 and 3 and so I gotta refresh that alone because I'm not thinking of both those F sharps at once. So my left hand is going E flat, D, F sharp. 3, 4, 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and. Okay. So with my right hand, 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and. So just a little review like that. Cleans it way up in my brain. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and G natural. So slow. Let's do it again. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 4 and gotta remember that F sharp. Alright, now I'm probably not ready to play with metronome. Only one way to find out. Play with metronome. We'll see if we fall apart completely or not. 4 and send you drums, dog. What drums do you want, my guy? Send me drums, dog. I don't know what gummy bear vitamins is talking about. I do think the idea of gummy bear vitamins right now sounds phenomenal. What kind of drums are you looking for? I'm just working on piano today. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. All right. So clearly am not ready for metronome on this section to put this all together yet. So let's do a couple more times by ourselves. It may not happen with metronome. Work on that fourth measure that we're working on and then see what happens from there. So I think of it as sensory overload. Like it's too much for me to try to like sight read, memorize, have that all in my brain. All right, I gotta make sure I'm playing that right. So 1 and. All right, so probably starting with that E flat really with that second finger. Again, I'm going to try to put counting to that because it's going to help me when I do it with metronome. So we got 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and. All right. Whew. Try it, see what happens. 2 and 3 and 4 and 2 and. take one off. Just struggling to do them in a row. And it's good to stretch. 3 and 1 and 2 and 2 and 3 and 4 and all right, we're gonna move on. I think my brain is toast on that for right now. Let's just do this measure. Again, the timing here is a little interesting. We're going so it'd be and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and again, these measures kind of bleed into each other rhythmically. So maybe we just take it from 3. The nice thing is note-wise, it's pretty easy. Bass clef, treble clef is probably going to be a little bit difficult for me. Excuse me, right off the bat. So we're just going to try to jump in on and 1. So let's just count that through a minute. So we got 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and again 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and all right, that shouldn't be too bad. A lot of it is just getting into it for me more than anything else. So bad. All right. 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and also like this little measure here, great exercise in playing on that upbeat, right? Because everything other than the 4, everything other than the 4 is on the off. Is there a 3? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Yeah, okay. So only the 4 is on the downbeat. So 3 and 4 and 1 and okay. Technically that 1, right? We play one note. 3 and 4 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and again 3 and 4 and 1, 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and again 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and so my brain might honestly just be done. We'll try to run for just a little bit more because why not? Yeah, let's just stay on this measure. I was gonna say I got 10 minutes. We could do the intro, but that seems a little daunting to me. Just start to figure it out. I like this idea though of like you choose where your brain power's at. Like even doing 30 minutes of this and not doing it for a week or so is enough to like throw me off. You're kind of building up that capacity to do it more. But I found out like if I just keep digging this hole of this measure, I'm not going to get much farther. If I go to the intro, just even if it's the first couple notes, it's enough that, hey, it's something new. It's going to kind of motivate me for one, and then B, it's just something new to look at. We're going to do 2 more of this. We're going to try it with metronome, and then we're going to do that to end our session today. I might even try to do a double session today, or maybe that's tomorrow. I got to try to get this. It's funny, I have to try to get this halfway close by Wednesday to teach a student. Now, half the time, I know enough of the song that I can kind of fake through or show them the right hand. Hey, this is what's going on, or show them how to count something. And they take a lot longer than me to learn just because they're newer to it. It does seem like it takes me a little while, though. All right, so 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and all right. Good luck with metronome. 3 and 4 and 1, 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and counting. It's not fun, but you do it over and over again, you never have to do it again. All right, so actually what I want to do before I try to tackle the intro for like 5 or 10 minutes is let's try one. We're not going to do it with metronome, but we're just going to try to play it to there, see what happens. Clearly I don't have my left hand figured out for that last measure, but we'll play what we want to play. That went about 100 times better than I would have thought it would have gone. And a lot of it has to go with like, now in the comments I've not been roasted, but Randy, who watches some of these, gives me feedback. He's like, bro, or no, not Randy. Randy will say tempos. There's some other people like, we'll play without metronome, you're fine. It's like, well, yeah, but I'm flexing my rhythm and I'm slowing down and speeding up to accommodate not knowing the song. There's nothing in the world wrong with that. But if your long-term goal is to be a really, really good musician, you need to be able to play with metronome, play without, play with, play without. It's awesome that I can kind of stumble my way through there without metronome, but I want to be able to adhere to metronome. Think about it. Any track that you've ever heard that has a good speed up, slow down, I can't remember the song. Some great 80s song. And if you actually analyze it, the drums do speed up, and the whole band follows with the drummer, right? They track it in a way that it has this ebb and flow to it. Well, it works in that context because everyone's flowing together. But the last thing in the world you want is to be a musician that can't play in time, and that has been a struggle of mine for many years. And it terrible at tracking for many a year as well. So great that I can play without metronome. That's the idea of it. Long term, I will play it without metronome, but I want to play it so many times with metronome that my without metronome almost becomes that same, not rigidness in a bad way, but like playing within the confines in a good way. I don't know if that makes any sense. All right, so let's look at the right hand for this, and then we'll call it. We've got like 5 minutes left. Call it good for today. So, all right, so I'm just going to cheat a little bit. I don't know why I need to cheat on that D, so it's a D, A. Yeah, and then that B. Okay, yeah, that sounds right. So we have a D, A, and then they're going up to a B flat. The iconic part of, the beginning of the song. So it's, what's interesting too is this this thumb is holding 1 and 2 and 3, and that's what their thumb is doing, while this I want to say left hand. That's obviously not what's actually going on. It's like that. And then on 4 and it picks up. So I don't know exactly what fingers I'm going to do. I don't know if I care that much. This feels a little bit more natural, especially because we're going to that B flat. So we got 1 and, that's going to throw me off. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and just, when you hit 4, lift your thumb up. All right, so full speed is 89. You can't see it, but it's right here. Let's throw that to 40 and just see if we can get a little bit of this down. And this stuff is crazy in my mind. I guess it's just octaves of D, but like octaves of D while I'm playing another note is, or that'd be F sharp. And then that's throwing my brain a third lower than D, so we got B flat. Maybe it's not as bad as I'm thinking. It looks intimidating for somebody who's not a good piano player. All right, so this part, 1 and 2 and 4 and. And again, this is what I was saying about like starting something new at the end of your practice. Think about it. If every single time I practice, I work first on that thing that's hard for me, right? I just rip that bandage off and tackle those 4 measures. Then at the end of practice, you practice something brand new. Well, anything brand new is just, I don't know, it's new, but it's going to be difficult as well. But then next practice, you just kind of alternate back and forth like that. And eventually I'll pick like different sections. Like, oh, I'll start my practice with this section. I'll end it with that section. And then I'll flip that the next time. In football, it'd be called more touches of the ball. It makes you a better player. Like the more I get to throw this ball, it's going to make me better. The more I get to run through these measures in different ways, it's going to make me learn it quicker. And really that's the goal. Like we're trying to speed up the process of learning. 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... So I really probably want to start with these fingers. 2 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... Then in the left hand just says B flat. Not ready for both hands yet. How choppy that is. All right, got to count that out and go slower. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 3 and 4 and again. 1. So for me, I need to start with my first and third finger. But then make that adjustment when I want to get to that F. It is much easier for me to look at the left hand than to even think about this right hand. We got the time though, so let's do it. G, F sharp, octave of D, and then D with that F sharp because we're carrying that F sharp over. And that. We'll see. For now, that's the best way for me to play that. I can't think of a different way that, the F sharp's not bad because of that raised key, the black one. That's a little bit of a stretch for my non-piano player hands. And then we're going to octaves of B flat. Also not hard, right? It's just a little bit easier to play B flat. Then another F. We're staying with the B flats. And what's in the middle? An E natural. Yeah, so we're getting that nice little tone in there. And then down to G's. And then that chord. So the chord is super, well, I guess there's G's, E natural, yeah. And then we're going to have an E flat, F. So this is going to be fun. Just figure this chord out. E flat, F. Oh, fourth down from E flat. So you guys can see that, like, I need to work on my note reading. Now, if I wanted to cheat, I bet there's an F in the bottom, okay? And then a fourth up from F has to be that B flat. Okay. We'll double check those notes, but as an E flat F, oh, that makes total sense. Because we're putting that, do I have that note right? Yeah, because it's an E flat F with an F in there. And then in the bass clef, there's a C. Yeah. There's a couple notes before the E flat / F, but all right, let's just check all those notes. So the lowest one, and you can't see there's a little in Sibelius tells me what notes. So that's an F. Yeah, we were right. This should be a B flat. Also right. This, I know it's an E flat. I know that's an F. Okay. Not an easy chord for me. It's not terrible though. So F, B flat, F. Yeah. Like that's more uncomfortable than what I had before. F, B flat, E flat, F. Now, this is a guitar trick, but it works on piano as well. So play your chord, and then just lift your first finger. You can lift all. It's kind of more the guitar trick, but to work on separation. So get this ugly, not ugly, it's a great sounding chord. It's just ugly and hard for me to play. And just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Also, if you can work on relaxing while you're doing this, pay even more dividends. All right. So that measure, those 4 measures are going to be hard for me, but we'll just tackle a little bit every single time we do a piano live, and it'll eventually come. So let's do it from that G flat, F sharp. That already is better for me. Somewhat. It's kind of thinking too, like I can play that D octave. That's a decently large hands. So that's not too bad for me. And then if I'm comfortable here, it's just putting in that F sharp, which is really easy, right? So you got D's, add the F sharp, F natural. Oh, and then that's kind of cool. The F ties, but then the D's play another octave. Then you jump down to the B flat. Then you play an F natural. And then we're playing B flat again. Yeah, B flat again with E natural. Probably should aim for 2 B flats though. Okay, and then we're down to G octaves. E natural one more time. Probably that note, probably that finger. And then we're to our E flat / F chord. And like you're just gonna hear me talk this through about 100 times next time I do a live. F, B flat, E flat, F. Okay. Just getting to that chord from, right? A lot of tension's created by just that E natural, and then that F stays and the B flat stays, which is kind of nice, right? We have an anchor. We have something we can move to or move from. And then an E flat G. Yeah, it'd be E flat G. Oh, that's going to hold, right? Yeah. And then something in our bass clef. Those four are, in my mind, harder than the first little bit. But, all right, for fun, let's play through the first little bit. One more. First part I practiced, which was the chorus. Let's do that one more time and then call it a day. Not worrying about playing it in time perfectly. Not worrying about playing the left hand on the last measure. Just kind of get a flow for it. So, kind of end on the idea that you're going to start with the next day. So I often don't leave time for that 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Kind of nice that those play together. And then I'm pretty sure it's a B flat, yeah. My note reading skills are gonna go up eventually. And then back to that F. Yeah, sweet. All right, guys. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for watching. If you want to support us making more sheet music, and you guys want to have like, hey, I need this piece of sheet music and I need it by here, become a member, and we'll turn that stuff up for you guys. All right, you guys have a good rest of your Monday, and I'll be talking to you all soon.